I'ma keep it a bean. Stick to the script, every scene. This from last year, but they clean. Say to say, I'ma take something else, but it's a winning team. Charlie Sheen, fam gang, the regime. I'm from Piney Green.
What's good, I'm Shellitronnn, but you can call me Coach, and I'm back at it again with a brand new video. And I'm gonna keep it a Bowberry biscuit. This upcoming game against the Cardinals is a really weird, very confusing game to talk about, to do a preview about for a lot of reasons. First off, it's a 4 o'clock game. As Panthers fans, we don't really see too many 4 o'clock games. They're usually at 1 o'clock. For the most part, they're just about always at 1 o'clock, unless they're in prime time, which we don't get too many of those. The NFL scheduling committee does not give us too many prime time games. Secondly, and maybe most importantly, we don't know who our quarterback is. Look, it's Thursday right now, and as of today, before I made this video, before I started recording the video, the Panthers have still not officially declared who will play quarterback. Now look, Cam's still in a walking boot. He hasn't practiced the last couple days, and Kyle Allen's been taking the QB1 snaps during practice, and the team has said if Cam can't go, then Kyle will be the guy. So we have a pretty good chance of, if you want to put money on it, Kyle Allen's the starter, but we haven't officially said it yet. And honestly, there's a good reason why. You can say maybe you don't want to give your opponents too much to go off of. You don't want to say, oh, well, we don't want to tell them right now. Maybe they're preparing for Cam or whatever. I think it's pretty obvious Kyle's playing this game. And keep it real with you, there's not very much to be gained from holding this information back. I think whether you prepare for Kyle or Cam, the game plan is pretty similar, seeing as Cam can't run right now, so you don't have to really worry about the dual threat ability of Cam. You can probably go into the game with the same sort of game plan, key in on Christian McCaffrey, and bring a lot of pressure and test Darrell Williams on that left side. But we'll get into the game strategy and whatnot later on. Another way this game is weird is because as Panthers fans, even at 0-2, we have a lot of pride. We know that our roster is stacked on offense and defense. We have a ton of talent on both sides of the ball. Special teams looks good as well. And we're going against a team who most people would say is bottom of the barrel, even though they're 0-1 and technically have a better record than us. The Cardinals are and have been one of the worst teams in the league for a few years now, and it's no denying it. Their best player is 47.5 years old, and Larry Fitz. So we understand what's going on here, but by that same vein, you really can't count these guys out. In his first game against the Lions, where he tied, Kyler had a really slow start in the first 3 quarters, but came back pretty strong in the fourth and overtime. He threw over 300 yards and had 2 touchdowns and an interception, so that's not too bad in a tie, I guess. And in the game against the Ravens, which he lost, he threw 350 yards in that game. No touchdowns, no interceptions, but also really no help at all in the run game. The pass game looked good. I mean, Christian Kirk had 114 yards. Larry Fitz had 104 yards. 2 guys put in some work, but there was really no help at all. David Johnson had a touchdown, but 7 carries for 14 yards ain't getting the job done. He had, I think, 12 carries for 81 yards in the first game. He hasn't cracked 100 yards yet this season. He hasn't really been what he was supposed to be from 2 years ago. Last year, he really fell off. We'll have to see how he looks in our game, but I'm not really all that convinced in David Johnson just yet. But Christian Kirk and Larry Fitz are both talented receivers. Even though the Cardinals are a bottom of the barrel team, if you start to count them out at any moment in the game, they might do a little something to get at you, especially in the secondary. We know our front 7 is really strong, but we still have a couple questions about our secondary. We know James Bradbury is the truth. Dante Jackson is a very talented corner, but we have to see this man tackle. Dante has some serious problems in his game that have to be addressed, but I think the biggest focus for this game has to be on the offense, right? I mean, the defense is okay. We have to worry about Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray he's a kind of shorter guy. And when I say kind of shorter, I mean the dude is 5'6" and 6-inch heels. But he's fast. He's not really a running QB. He's more of a scrambling passer. He hasn't even cracked 20 yards rushing on the season yet through 2 games. So we're not going to really see him going past the line of scrimmage all that much. And he will give himself up because he is a smaller dude. So defensively, the biggest focus is going to be on containing Kyler and not really preventing him from breaking 25-plus yard runs. That's not what his game is. But like I said, offense. If we work under the assumption that Kyle Allen is playing this game, we have some very big decisions to make. One, the biggest question is, do we trust Kyle Allen? Will the coaching staff let Kyle Allen let the ball fly? And by fly, I don't just mean checkdowns. I mean, will they let him pass the ball 10 yards up the field, 15 yards up the field? Maybe throw a streak up the seam to Greg or a post to DJ Moore, maybe even Curtis. But will we let this man pass the ball deep? Or are we going to go with what's tried and true, or maybe not so true nowadays, but are we going to put the whole workload on Christian McCaffrey? Because over the last 2 games, we've had Christian in the game 100% of the snaps. We've heard from the coaching staff and the front office since March that we're going to have Christian not in the game as much. It's going to be a really big issue here if we're sitting around either handing the ball for Christian McCaffrey every single time or taking down to him every single play, because we saw last week against the Bucks, all you have to do to stop this offense is key in on Christian McCaffrey. Have one guy playing man at all times, have another guy have another assignment in the zone somewhere, and just keep an eye on where Christian is. Just keep an eye, like, you have your assignment, but just always be aware of where Christian is. Keep side-eyeing him, and maybe even cheat your alignment to where he's on the field. Teams are going to start figuring out that you don't have to actually stop Christian McCaffrey, but if you can contain him, if you can at least hold him to not having all these breakout plays every single play, you might be able to force the Panthers to pass the ball deeper than what we've been doing over the past, 10, 11, 12 games, and make the Panthers put the ball in Kyle Allen's hands, and then see just how strong the blocking is, because last week versus the Bucks, the protection was not great. Darrell Williams had 8 pressure counts, 3 sacks. Greg Van Roten had 4 pressure counts, which can be accounted to him, maybe partially to helping Darrell Williams and getting caught because his assignment wasn't getting blocked properly. Matt Paradis had 3. Trey Turner and Taylor Moton both had 1 each. So what we saw was a lot of consistent pressure on Cam to the point where he couldn't get into a groove. And when he was trying to get into a groove, or when he did have a good clean pocket, he was kind of feeling those footsteps, hearing footsteps, feeling pressure, seeing ghosts that weren't there, and it kind of got in his head. We can't allow that to happen to our backup quarterback because, one, we can't let this man get injured. Kyle Allen cannot get injured, because we have to go to Will Grier, and Will does not look ready to play at the NFL level. I think he will in a couple years, maybe even next year. But I think he needs a little bit of time to develop, to learn, to be a project quarterback on the practice field, and he'll get there. But right now is not the time to subject Will Grier to NFL pressure. There's a strong potential for us to be tested by this Cardinals defense, but there is a silver lining here because the Cardinals defense ain't that good. They're 31st in yards per game allowed at 458. They're 16th in third down conversion rate at 41%. 4th most penalties in the league at 19. And they're the worst in time of possession against at 38 minutes and 30 seconds. So when I say we'll be tested by this defense, I mean the offense will really be tested to see just how good we are with a backup, because this defense from the Cardinals ain't really all that great, and that's putting it as nice as possible. But keep in mind, they did tie the Lions, who, they're decent but not good. And they did lose in a sort of close game relatively with the Ravens, who have an explosive offense and they have a pretty good defense. So, we lost to the Bucks. So we really can't say all that much. And we'll have a backup quarterback. We'll see just how good Kyle Allen is. Or will we? I don't know. This probably isn't the best test against this defense. But I want to say 2 things here. I almost had one finger up. I want to say 2 things here. One, if Kyle Allen does play well, please, Panthers fans, please. I don't want to see this, although I know I will. This is the Cardinals. So if he does play really good, and I hope he does, let's not start this whole, oh man, Kyle should have been the starting quarterback since last year. See, this is why Cam Newton's washed up. See what we're doing with this backup quarterback? He should have been in the game for the longest time now. And I agree that Cam should have been given an opportunity to rest, but that doesn't have much to do with Kyle Allen specifically. Let's wait a few more games if Kyle does play well. And I have no problem with Kyle playing the whole season because I think Cam should get rest. But let's not get too crazy and crown the man after beating the Cardinals. And by that same token, if we lose this game to the Cardinals, let's not trash Kyle Allen, bro. It's his first real start. Let's not call the man bad if we do lose this game. It's a really weird situation for this team right now. We could easily win in a blowout, and we could very easily lose this game to the Cardinals. So it's hard for me to call this game. I really want to wait till I know who the quarterback is. It's probably going to be Kyle Allen. But if I'm going to be really, really real with you, I called a win in the Rams game, and I called a blowout in the Bucks game. So maybe I'm jinxing it. I'm going to call a loss in this one. I'm going to call a loss here. A close loss in a low-scoring affair. I'm saying 20-14. Cardinals. It's tough to say it. It's really tough to say it. I think we start off 0-3. I know Cam is a big issue, but I think there's bigger issues than Cam. I think there's bigger issues than Kyle Allen. I think there's bigger issues than Christian McCaffrey being keyed in on offense. And I think it starts near the top. This is going to be a loss. Hope I'm wrong, like I've been the last 2 weeks. But I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have a lot of faith moving forward right here. And the Cardinals look like they've been getting better. I got to say, this is going to be a tough one. If Kyler throws for 300 plus yards on us, like he has the last 2 weeks, it's going to be a loss. So, we'll see. We'll see. I say 20-14 Cardinals. What are your thoughts? I know y'all heard that and have a lot of thoughts. I can hear your keyboard clicking and clacking right now. You might crack your phone screen, but look, let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And you already know to do that like button.
Cheers to you, appreciate the chance. Being told y'all I been the man. Being told y'all I had the gift. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Real ones gonna recommend. Count this as another win.